Angelina Mondavi steps up as head winemaker for Charles Krug. Europe warns that whose push for prohibition may erase centuries of wine culture. Don't touch the Prosecco! We'll explain. Chianti Classico is stepping out of Tuscany's shadows. All that and more on this week's episode of This Week Uncorked. Well, hello and cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 63 of This Week Uncorked for Monday, September 29th, 2025. I'm Brett Martin from Cork and Journey. If you don't know who we are, well, we are your number one source for corkage fee information, as well as winery reviews, wine reviews, restaurant reviews, regional wine guides, and much, much more. And with that, let's get right on into this week's wine news. Well, as we said, the drinks business is reporting that Angelina Mondavi has become the head winemaker at Charles Krug Winery, making her the first woman to lead the winemaking at that historic Napa estate. From the article, Angelina Mondavi will become the first woman in her family to lead winemaking at Charles Krug since the Mondavis acquired the estate in 1943. The move follows the announcement that longstanding winemaker Stacey Clark, who has held the role for 14 years, is retiring. The Mondavi family thanked Clark for her years of dedication and artistry, which they said have left an indelible mark on Charles Krug's legacy. So congratulations to Angelina. The entire Mondavi family is still so deeply involved in Napa. You know, if you look at what's going on at Rain and just all over. Anyway, it's good to see that legacy carrying on. And also over at the drinks business, moving on, the Académie Internationale du Vin has issued a public warning that Europe's wine culture is facing an existential risk due to the World Health Organization's increasing prohibition-oriented stance. The AIV basically, they're alarmed that whose proposals to what they say denormalize wine consumption through stricter alcoholic policies measures is just going to create economic instability and basically erase centuries of culture. So here's from the article directly. Wineries and other groups also argue that the anti-alcohol movement is pushing for still wider measures to denormalize wine. So there's that word. I pulled it out when I was talking about this earlier. I think that's interesting, to take wine and basically say, this is bad. It's like cigarettes. It's like process. It's bad, bad, bad. So interesting. They're doing so such as warnings on back labels referring to life-threatening risks, significant excise tax increases, a complete moratorium on wine advertising, and most extreme of all, the banning of wine from public spaces. That would mean no wine consumption on visible restaurant terraces, outdoor cafes, or venues open to the street, which the Académie sees as a step towards worldwide prohibition. And I kind of think that's where they're going. I think there is this move afoot. It's been squashed here in the United States, but definitely not so over in Europe, and it's not going to go well, period. I don't see it happening. So hopefully they back down from the extreme stance they've got. Otherwise, we will see, some craziness go on over there. Hopefully they can get out of their own way. All right, and moving on with a less depressing, but still depressing story. Over at VinePair, Olivia White has reports that Costco is recalling its Kirkland signature Prosecco due to safety hazards of unopened bottles that may spontaneously shatter. From the article, notice of the recall was initially sent out to members of the popular big box store whose records indicate that the Prosecco was purchased in the 4-month time frame. The memo, now published to the recalls and product notices section of Costco's website, states there is a risk of unopened Prosecco bottles shattering even when not handled or in use. Kind of searching the boards, looking around on this a little bit. I imagine that did happen, but most people were saying that basically as soon as you started to remove the cage from the Prosecco bottle, the cork just started to come out. So it appears whatever happened there, maybe just way too much CO2 injected into the bottle, or the pressurization was out of control. Maybe they're using cheaper bottles. I don't know. Something's wrong. And so, unfortunately, a bunch of Prosecco is being recalled. So, sad day. But they're not, by the way, you don't even have to return it. It's just like, here's my receipt. I bought it. They're giving you a refund. They don't want you to return it. They want you just to destroy it. So, if you are one of those people, check out the article in the show notes and find out if you're one of those states where that was sold. All right, and finally, the Financial Post has via Bloomberg, Ellen McCoy argues that Chianti Classico, especially recent vintages like 2021, is undervalued and deserves wider respect among wine lovers. Key developments include the formalization of 11 subzones, UGAs, which are now appearing on the 2020 and 2021 labels. The piece highlights how terroir differences among these subzones bring nuance to flavor, identity, and quality in Chianti Classico. I could not agree more. We basically spent almost all our time in Europe, in Italy. I would say, 20 days of it was in Tuscany and almost exclusively in Chianti Classico, running around. And those 2021 vintages were just outstanding. They're very proud of the fact that they've now identified these various geographic regions that they've broken Chianti Classico into those. Anyway, the rooster crows, and they're doing a really, really nice job. From the article, Minetti says they're part of elevating the quality of Chianti Classico's once controversial top wine category, Gran Saison. The new rules require the use of only estate-grown grapes and a higher percentage of our unique, elegant Sangiovese grapes. Naming the origin of the wines encourages drinkers to sniff out a sense of place in them, he says. Some 80% of Gran Saison UGA wines are from single vineyards. I will tell you, good stuff, and it should be called out because, for a lot, just forget about the little straw bottles. If you're watching the show, you already know how great the stuff is. But anyway, it really, I will tell you, that 2021 vintage is just outstanding. The 2021 vintages in Napa. 2021, there were a few places where it wasn't good, but man, most places it was killer. So good stuff there. And with that, let's move on to our wine and winery of the week. Well, I'm going to continue to botch Italian names here as we go through these. By the way, I'm drinking. This is Norte 32 Viognier. So this is Valle de Guadalupe. Shout out to Oscar, the owner and winemaker down there. Good stuff. Cheers, Oscar. Hang on one second. Nice. All right, we're going to start with our, not really a winery, it's a wine shop in downtown Rome, Enoteca Il Goccetto. Hopefully I got that right. Man, we gave it 4 stars. It's just this little wine shop. It's been around since 1983. It's in a 16th century building. It's got 800 wine bottles, the important thing. Just a lovely little place. I mean, man, you walk in there, they're just serving some great wines, and it's got a great feeling. Across the street from it, they've got a little outdoor patio area. Talking to some other people, this was known for a time, like they were serving Sassicaia. They were doing some crazy stuff by the glass, I guess, back in the day. Now it's more of a traditional wine bar. But man, if you're in Rome, I would highly, highly suggest checking this place out. It's, like I said, one of the nicer wine bars in Rome, and just well worth the visit. Pricing range for the tasting is about 25 euros. Not bad. Or just settle down and get a glass. It's kind of set up both ways. They also have a little mini food menu, so you can take care of yourself there as well. And so for the wine of the week, it's an Antinori, probably one of the biggest winemakers in all of Italy. It's the Cervaro della Sala IGT Chardonnay Grechetto 2022. It's 100% Chardonnay. We rated it 90 points. It comes in at $70 a bottle. So you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? For me, you can get a really, really good Chardonnay for less than that, especially over in Italy as well. Anyway, these are all sourced from Castello della Sala, which is a 500-hectare estate located just outside in Umbria there. Higher elevation, 220 to 470 meters. Hey, it's a nice Chardonnay. Excited about it? I don't know. It's pretty good. What can I say? But anyway, that's our wine of the week. And with that, let's head over to our restaurant and Uncorked of the week. All right, our restaurant of the week is also in Rome. It is Per Me. This is Giello Terrinoni. Giello Terrinoni. He is the chef. We'll just call him chef. Michelin star restaurant in, again, downtown Rome. Man, this place was really, really good. We got the chef's table, which is not what you would think. The chef's table is the two of you are sitting at your own little countertop staring into the kitchen, which you can kind of see if you're watching us on YouTube here. And they are preparing the food for you and the rest of the restaurant, but they're very particularly preparing the food for you. And then they are watching as you eat the food. And we kept going through, and it was fish after fish after fish after fish, and it was very, very good. But then we kind of, started sending some back, because I think this went on for like 20 courses. It just didn't stop. And at one point, we just were like, hey, could we move on from fish? I think we're at our 14th fish dish, and they're known for that. And so it's not really a big deal. All of a sudden, man, oh man, the kitchen goes crazy. And the chef basically came and he took over from his sous chef and from his other head. The head chef goes crazy. He starts making stuff, starts making his mama's and his grandmother's ravioli recipes and pasta recipes. It was out of control. It was so good. Afterwards, we got to meet with him, sit down. He was a lovely gentleman. Wonderful restaurant. Per me, for me, is what that means. And I think it is for you. And that is a do not miss if you are in Rome. And if you can get that chef's table, do it. But hopefully you like everything, because man, the stares they give you if you don't eat it, that could be a little rough. Anyway, no corkage fee allowed. They do a lovely little pairing across the board, though. We had it, and man, they're mixing up some stuff. You could see some of the amazing wines. Again, we were kind of showing you there on the YouTube channel. Anyway, and with that, we're going to wrap up this week Uncorked. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on social media. Hey, and be sure to check out that interview we did over at Chateau Lennert with Remy Jean. Really, really proud of that. Good time. Take care, everybody. Until next week, cheers.